As soon as, yeah, there we are. I think the StreamYard is caught up with us. We're live, everybody. Come on in. It's Sunday Funnies time. There's already people in the chat. Maybe.
Yeah,
Efren.
I see
Efren's in the chat.
Hey,
Hello. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. We're going to start by running the opening. We're just here to watch cartoons today. Maybe talk about a. Before that, we'll talk about a fantasy art exhibit that I was at yesterday.
Yeah.
Saw a few friends. At least a few friends' works on the wall. It was fun. But first, our wonderful opening. That's our promo. There's our opening. Here we go. Since we're staying mostly family friendly on this side of the Indie Comics Network, I should probably change that opening, take that Omaha the Cat Dancer out of there. Maybe the Air Pirates. I don't know. It's all part of the... Pardon?
It's all part of the fun.
It's all part of the fun. It is. And also this. I keep forgetting to run this at the start of the show, so I better run it now.
The views and opinions expressed within the video content found on the Indie Comics Network are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of the Indie Comics Network or its sponsors.
Because you know how viciously opinionated we get on the show.
Especially before.
Especially before and after, yeah.
And then a two-hour gap and we carry on with what we really think.
There's still technically TV MADLSV, but
that sounds like a condition.
Yeah,
it is.
But we won't go there.
We won't go there. No. Efren's in the house. Hello. Marv's in the house. Of course, greetings, sinners. Thanks, Marv, for listening in again. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and go to the Arrow Comics 4.0 store. Well, you can find that at arrowcomics.store. And we've dropped the 4.0 as of the 1st of January. We're just Arrow Comics now. Is that your cat, Russ?
Not my cat.
No,
okay. Oh, you were looking around like you were looking for the cat.
It could be my cat, but it would have
gone it's mine.
Over to Allison really, really quick.
Yeah, it's mine. I'm ignoring him.
Daphne has a parrot. Allison has
I have two cats, and they're pains in the asses. So
that's cats.
It's all part of the transparency of the podcasting. Efren says, I want to make a drawing of Pinocchio from Netflix. Yeah. Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. It's up there. I haven't watched it yet. I did watch his Cabinet of Curiosities. That was pretty interesting.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Most of it
I heard
was pretty
Pinocchio
good.
is very good. I haven't watched it yet, though.
Yeah, he does an adaptation of Pickman's Model, which was kind of fun. It's a classic story. So that was kind of fun. Just in the middle of all, here's a couple of original stories. Oh, and here's an adaptation of, I think it was Lovecraft's Pickman's Model. Boom. Oh, that's cool.
That's very cool.
That was a scary one as well. That was good.
Yeah, well, they were all really, scary or ooky in one way or another.
They were strange, yeah.
Yeah. Folks, come on in. I'm your host, Randy Zimmerman. I've been doing alternative and independent comics for decades, and happy to do so. Real happy to be here. Do this Sunday Funnies program so that we talk about the stuff that we love about this industry and this wonderful art form we call comics. We'll take a look at some great art today, one way or another, and maybe some not so great animation. We'll find out. So as we go along. Also with me today is Mr. Glenn Fleming. Glenn, introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. My name's Glenn Fleming. I'm a writer, artist, and publisher. I spent 40 years in graphics and wasted a lot of my time, I think, but did covered illustration and typography and all kinds of stuff. I'm the author of this book, which is currently available through me, and with it you get a nice DVD, and it covers my visits to see Jack Kirby at his home. I'm the creator of Hatch, which is coming to a crowdfunder near you very shortly. And I also publish Comics Unlimited, which is a quarterly 100-page magazine about comics. Number 11 is on sale now on Amazon.
And you're probably pasting up number 12 by the end of the month, huh?
I'm looking at it. I'm doing it. I'm on it now. Yeah, I'm doing it now.
Oh, well,
It's
I need to
be
get
out in February. Yeah,
I need to get that article in.
You do, yeah. I was going to say to you, but I was going to say off air.
Time to get on it. Yep. Also with us today is Mr. Russ Leach. Introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Russ Leach. I'm a comic book artist from the UK. Currently in the pages of Batman. Hero Time presents Batman for the European market, and also my own book, Only Death Can Save Us. Been around, done some stuff. You can find me at russleach.com.
Been around, done stuff. Also with us today is Allison. Allison, introduce yourself.
How's it going? I am a writer, artist, and creator of comics and other interesting things. I can be found on the Indie Comics Network, my own website, alleycatcomics.com, my own YouTube, Twitch, and all that stuff with Alley Cat Comics. Feel free to give me a follow, like, subscribe, all that other fun stuff. That should do it.
Jason Moore's in the house. Hey, Jason, how you doing? You need to get podcast ready so that you can come on the show, especially if you're up this early on Sunday. Come on. He says Guy Davis was the lead designer on the new Del Toro Pinocchio on Netflix. He also has
that explains a lot.
He also has a creator's credit at the end of every episode of the Cabinet of Curiosities too. I know. We looked for on all of them. Yeah. Some great monsters, some great design work in that show too. My friend says, have you heard about the Yellow Kid? Very old comic.
Yep.
Don't get it started on comic history.
Yeah.
We can go for hours. Yeah, Yellow Kid was the first.
I think we have gone for hours in this show.
Oh yeah, at least. Yeah. I'm writing a book. One of these days, I'm going to get that done. It's after the book I'm working on now. But yeah, Yellow Kid was the first real IP, and it caused quite a stir and turned the creator Outcult. Outcult? I think it's how you pronounce his name, into a big celebrity, big time superstar. Also created Buster Brown and a few other properties along the way. Started out as an editorial cartoon down in the lower right corner of the political cartoons he was doing on the day, and then turned into a comic strip. Yeah. Is there a problem with Facebook? We're not streaming there anymore. Oh, I'm sorry. Thanks for reminding me. Marvy, I'm the silly Facebook now won't post my won't post the broadcast unless I go through and physically make them public. They're public now, so we are now over on Facebook as well.
Silly goose.
Just the way it is. They put it up as locked and private for whatever reason. I wish we knew where the adjustment was in order to keep that from happening, but I don't think we control it. I think they do in order to try to keep those platforms at odds with each other. So, but we're open to the public now over on Facebook as well. So only 11 minutes in. So there we are. It's a lot better than last Friday. I forgot altogether until after the program. So I always forget. I need to put a little stick-it note up here in the corner of my board here and to remind me to go and do that. Anyway, yesterday I had the opportunity to take the granddaughter to and the wife to the Enchanted exhibit. They're showing of fantasy art, which was a lot of fun. History of fantasy illustration. They had works there in frames under glass all the way back to the 1600s. It was a very fascinating time. It was a great show. And it was so great to go through and see names that are recognized and some people you knew and go, oh, yeah, I was at a convention with that guy once. That kind of thing. And of course, the big showcase of the event was really this here.
Wow.
Just to show a great Frazetta painting under glass, watched by guards. It was fun to go in and actually see that, and had to introduce the daughter to fantasy illustration.
I like the way he's actually painted you in the background, Randy.
Oh yeah, me taking a picture in the reflection. Sure.
Impressive.
When you first walk in, there's a giant flying smog red dragon from Dungeons and Dragons. There's the granddaughter.
Look at that.
Standing there to show scale. Beautifully reproduced and probably pressed in on vinyl.
That's not the actual size of the painting, though, is it?
No, it's not. The
Oh,
painting
look
is
at
about the size of the granddaughter.
And you've not seen the granddaughter since, because that thing's heading straight for her.
No, she's still here. In fact, if you hear some thumping going on upstairs,
Right.
that's them running around up there. We have them here for a few weeks while their house gets renovated.
Just put that one back up again, please.
Yeah.
Just want to look around it. How good is that? I mean, it's fantastic. I mean, look at that. Is that a building down below? Is that a castle type of thing?
That is a little city. This is smog flying away from, I believe the town's name is Lakefront, off of, I think it's Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit, one or the other.
Wow.
Oh, Lake Town from The Hobbit.
I like the little holes and tears in his wings.
Yeah. It's an older dragon.
Makes it look like he's...
I'm not even sure that's smog. In fact, it's
No, that
dragon.
looks like something from Dungeons and Dragons.
It is. They used it on Dungeons and Dragons, but it's also off of. They reference it as being off of Tolkien. I could tell you who painted it, but it's going to take me a minute to dig up the illustration through the.
In one of our future comics by night, I don't know does Frazetta count? Can we go through one of his books?
Frazetta always counts. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Because I have.
Whether it does or not, we want to see it.
Yeah, whether or not. Yeah, exactly.
Rather lovely book.
Yeah.
Of Frazetta.
I have one of his art books, but it's not in very good shape. I'm sure I could find somebody.
Very good shape because I love it so much. There you go.
Wow.
Hang on.
Can't really see that.
Your dragon's in my way.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's amazing. I have that book.
Yeah. It's a lovely book. Lovely.
It's great because it looks like your monkey's looking at it when you held it up then, Russ.
Yeah. Monkey.
That's volume 1. That's crazy. Yeah, that's really good. Is that a first print?
I think it is. Yeah.
Oh, good on you.
Yeah, I have that one too.
It's a lovely book, and it's got some of his line work in it as well. Some ink.
That was
really
out
nice.
in the late 70s, I believe.
Yeah. It's
yeah. Well, I can't find that illustration right off the bat.
76.
76.
Wow. Yeah.
That was the year I was born.
First US edition would be 75. This edition published 76. So it's not the first printing, it's the second.
Okay.
So, but there's multiple, there's hardcovers and all kinds of stuff. But he's got I won't show you that illustration because that would be naughty.
That collection of that collection of works has been reprinted a number of times.
There's a few bits and pieces that our Facebook wouldn't like. There's a rather lovely drawing of.
They don't appreciate art, do they?
No. Apparently,
no, they don't.
Nipples don't count as art. That's. I think that's. Is that John?
Carter.
Is that the Mars?
John Carter. Yes.
John Carter.
That's John Carter.
John Carter, and there's a lovely.
Or it was an illustration for John Carter.
More boobs. Yeah. Sorry.
That also probably has the picture of Carter standing with a sword raised in front of Mars.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just a gorgeous. I had a poster of that illustration at one point.
That's presumably but I think that's Bilbo rather than Frodo, but I can't be sure. Beautiful. So you've got all kinds of stuff in there. Gorgeous work.
It's probably pre-production art for back. She's still looking for that dragon illustration in the book here.
It's he's of such an inspiration. I can't even see him as a benchmark. He's just so damn good. There's no point in even trying.
Yeah.
He's one of those creators too, from what I understand, who was like Frank Lloyd Wright and saw the painting in his head and just sat there and did it.
Oh God!
Like, here's an hour, 2 hours, boom, done.
He drew some strip work for DC in the late 50s, Frank Frazetta, didn't he? I think it was a Western. I'm not sure. I seem to have a memory of it.
He did a comic strip for a short while called Johnny Comet for a bit. He actually was came in through Al Williamson.
Yeah.
On there's a few EC stories that he did. A couple of EC stories that he inked, and a few he did himself. Just amazing. We can definitely look at those. I got them. So
yeah.
I just got to find them. Oh yeah, they're amazing. They're just incredibly amazing. Oh, and of course, anybody that was betting the line that Scott Roseman would not show up for this show officially lost.
There
you are.
It's a Rosamar.
It's a Rosamar
for me.
It's a Rosamar.
Surely it's not Friday, Scott.
I know.
It might be where you are, but it's not where I am.
Rosamar's here and Ragnarok is upon us.
I'm just thankful to be on this plane of existence right now.
Oh, hey, you and me both.
Hey, Allison, how we doing?
I'm doing. How are you?
Good.
Scott, introduce yourself.
Scott Rosema, a longtime pro in the comic industry since 1987. Been causing trouble for as long as I can remember. Marvel, DC, Warner Brothers, Disney, Valiant, Fleer, all Cartoon Network, all kinds of stuff.
Fred says Frazetta technique is to enhance human body's anatomy, to give them his style, which is great. Yep. Nothing like a Frazetta woman.
He was, Frank said that he would do stuff with anatomy, not because, he wasn't trying to be correct, but he was trying to be as dynamic as possible.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. Somebody can take the anatomy and warp it or twist it and still make it look great. Even though
that's what Kirby used to do, isn't it?
Exactly
even
right.
to a degree, Buscema, extending
Absolutely.
and forcing it, and if you actually take an analysis, I mean, I've seen people like put grids over some of these images and go, oh well, that's not quite right, or that muscle isn't quite in the right place. It's like you're missing the point.
How have you got time to do that?
The point, and if you've got time to do that, you'd seriously get a life.
Exactly.
The whole point is not to be, and this is something that I've struggled with and keep struggling with. It's not about being absolutely correct. It's about understanding it and then forcing it, making it your own, and that's why those artists are just so damn good.
It's almost impressionism, isn't it?
Almost, yeah.
Well, it is.
Somebody made it. What is it? Hyperrealism is a term that's been used for comic books,
right?
So,
well, that's the whole example. Animation and sequential art, both. They don't thrive on the ordinary, and the whole idea of doing it is to take it out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
Exaggeration and dynamics are always the key to great sequential art, great cartoons. Same thing. We're going to look at some cartoons, hopefully, if we get around to it later. We'll see how the conversation keeps going. I've stopped buying Marvel and DC back in the 90s because they stopped drawing normal bodies. That's why I love the classics, especially European. Now, believe it or not, I know for a fact that there was an artist friend of mine that's no longer working in the industry or the business because they said he was too unrealistic. And his stuff was very, it wasn't cartoony, but it was very exaggerated but very stylized. Very, very much along the line of Art Adams.
right.
It looked great. I mean, they were phenomenal images. The editors at the time didn't like them. And then less than 4 or 5 years later, Art Adams was drawing almost the exact same exaggeration, the exact same cartooniness, and he was loved all over. So he was like, I'm out of here.
Well, it's timing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Timing and editors,
editor
temperament.
Yeah, the personal likes and dislikes of the people kind of in charge, holding the reins of the project. They play a huge part in how things work or don't work.
Mm-hmm. That applies in life, though, doesn't it? All the people who are not qualified tend to be the ones who are in charge.
Let me get a bell for that. Absolutely.
Awesome.
Too true. And that a lot of times, especially in some cases that I know of up there with the big people, with the big corporations, ego starts playing a role in there because the editor's in charge and they get to dictate what happens. And then they wonder why everybody complains and leaves. And well, that not paying them enough or not paying them at all at this point. That's a whole nother matter. Ooh. Anyway.
Hey, just because I'm nosy and I'm going back on my old grade school nickname, Scott Nosy Rosima, I'm interested in what any of us are working on this morning. Allison, you and Russ look like you got something going on. What's can we take a peek?
Sure. Give me 1 minute before I.
Russ says no.
I'll just throw it up.
Russ usually draws under NDAs. So. Plus and harsh light at that. There we are. Oh, look at that.
Nice.
Incredible.
Nice.
The blue line.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Lots of Kirby crackle.
Lots of Kirby on that page. Yeah. That's the last page of the book.
Oh.
Now, are you doing all your own inking, Russ, on that project?
Yeah, I am. Yeah. And yeah.
What's your tools of choice right now?
I have Pentel brush pens.
Okay, the Pentel's great.
And just a few smaller, thinner pens as well.
Okay.
And that's what he fills in all the Kirby crackle with. It's the smallest pen he can find.
The smallest pen I can find. Yeah, I know. I've got some markers as well. Like I throw
the quickest road to madness.
I throw some stupid stuff down with markers as well, and basically anything that works. I do like to use the brush pen. This one is my favorite one.
Right.
I get a nice brush line with it, like a real brush, you know.
Yeah, it's amazing the kind of the looks you can get with that.
Yeah, but I don't know where I'm going next. I mean, I've got a project that I'm doing with Randy soon, and I'm going to start playing with styles. So things are going to change up. So I've been going very sort of my inspirations are Kirby and Buscema and all the rest of it, but obviously very Bronze Age, so Stalin and that kind of all that kind of wacky sci-fi stuff has been very prominent in what I've been doing in the last two books. But the next book I do with Randy will be very different. So I may have to change my tools up.
Well, that's enough out of you, Russ. Allison, what about you?
Thanks for running the show, Scott.
Yeah, nice segue. Did you see that? That was great. Yeah,
that was great.
Segues be damned. I'm too nosy.
I've set a few pages for my flatter to go over, so I can go and start doing some color work.
Is there anything we can see?
Yep, I'll pull some stuff up.
We'll sign NDAs if you want us to.
Yeah, nobody else needs to know.
Yeah, nobody
I'll
else
get everyone on
needs
the
to know.
internet to sign NDAs on it. That'll be great.
Speaking of great work here, take a look at this while Allison does that.
Oh man, who's that by?
Look at that.
Do me a favor.
Amazing.
Wow.
How big is that? The real image.
The real image is about 5 feet tall.
Oh, right. Okay. I don't feel so inadequate now.
I saw that painting. And, you just look at it for a while.
I still feel inadequate, but 5 feet inadequate is a different kind of inadequate. You know what I mean?
Gary Gianni.
Gianni, no kidding.
Yes.
Well, that shouldn't surprise me. The guy.
There was I'm showing off a fantasy art display that was at the Flint Institute of Arts.
Oh, nice.
Their last day was yesterday, and it was one of those, let me know when it's over. So I make sure I got to go before that's done. It's like, well, it's done today. Well, we need to go.
Oh, nice.
So anyway, this was there. This was there. And
that is not an original, is it?
It is.
Oh, you're freaking kidding me.
No, that's why it's under glass.
Oh, no, that's over in Flint right now?
It was, yesterday.
Yeah, well, it's gone now?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, Randy took it.
The exhibit's done, yeah. Not just that, but watch this. Watch this. There's an excuse the audio on this. It's not the best. Here at Flint Institute of Arts. It's an enchanted fantasy display by the great Frank Frazetta. The great Frank Frazetta. right next to it. Right next to Greg Hildebrand. And I didn't even back up enough to get it all in the picture.
Small
It was beautiful.
invades Lake Town. What a beautiful piece.
How long was it there in Flint?
Wow.
Unbelievably big. Yeah, I sat there. You could see it from across the room. I'm like, holy crap. They put it right up against the Frazetta, right next to the Frazetta. It's like there's
How long
Frazetta,
was that
there's
Frazetta
Hildebrand.
there?
It was there for a few months.
Oh, shit. I was just across the state. I could have freaking crawled there.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I got the book. I picked up the book of the exhibit. They only had 3 of them left. And all of them were slightly dinged and damaged, but they had illustration work there from the 1600s on up. A lot of the thing the wife noticed, a lot of phenomenal female painters were there doing just unbelievable work. Some work for TSR, Dungeons and Dragons work, some fairies and unicorns, and just absolutely gorgeous material. The ones that this was the big picture on the display as we walked in. That's the granddaughter there.
God.
That's how big that was, printed off on vinyl and made huge for
see.
the display. Yeah.
Wow.
Jesus. As if I'm not feeling bad enough as it is from that
But,
John Byrne excursion we had Friday.
Yeah. I'm still recovering from this Taranko one 3 weeks before.
Oh, my God.
When we walked in, turned the corner, the first thing we saw was Hal Foster.
Oh,
Only it was a Prince Valiant. It was a corner. Somebody had taken a Hal Foster Sunday page and chopped it into individual pictures, and there were 2 pictures of it there. One with the paste in Prince Valiant logo on top, and another one underneath, and the illustration was probably, I would say 10 by 10 inches by 10 inches.
Did you not take any pictures of that, Randy?
I didn't, because I walked in and I went, man, I hope this isn't a sign of how the entire display is going to go, because they literally massacred a Sunday page in order to put it up there. But I can show
they
you
didn't
what
do that
what-
for the exhibition. Did
No,
they?
somebody probably
Something
did
else.
early on and stuck it in frames, and they acquired it for the show. Let me blow this up here because I can show you the 2 panels. Let me see if they got the other one here. I thought I saw it last night when I went through it. Nope. I believe. Yeah. Let me blow it up there. First one was that one, that panel was there, and then the one underneath it, I think, was the other one.
Oh.
Oh, we're talking
We'll look at Hal Foster on a Comics by Night here coming up, because I've got a couple of the years of Prince Valiant strips in black and white, I should say. Instead of making me smaller, I knocked out my. There was a wide variety, a wide set of examples of artwork that was there. This was also there that I thought was amazing.
Oh, gee.
Incredible.
It's in gray tones.
Is that by Alan Williams or no?
That was by, yes, you're right, Alan Williams. Got it right on.
Yeah, this stuff's very, very.
That reminds me of Dormammu there with his head.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Got those wings.
Oh,
there was another piece. There was a piece of Bob Layton there.
Oh,
an illustration from John Carter of Mars that I had never seen. Beautiful stuff.
Really?
There was also this piece. Speaking of John Carter.
Oh God, take my glass off. Just good here.
That's beautiful.
Jeez.
You know what that is?
It's wait. That's don't tell us.
It was like something out of Star Wars. That
Nice,
guy, big guys.
No, we know it's not string.
I was amazed. Yeah, that's what I thought when I saw that John Carter face.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, well, this is beautiful. Who did? And then I saw the tag next to it. And I went, oh, holy crap, that's amazing. Beautiful.
I can see the signature, but I can't make it out. So I'm not sure who it is.
That's
Is that a
Mark
Cuba?
Wheatley.
Oh,
Who?
Oh,
Mark Wheatley.
Mark Wheatley. Oh,
wow.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Beautifully
Wow.
displayed under glass. Just phenomenal.
It looks like an etching, doesn't it?
It does.
it does. He was
Looks like-
firing at all cylinders there.
Yeah. A pulp
Holy
etching.
crap.
Yeah. Pulp magazine etching. Yeah. Just crazy. Then let me see. I'm picking my way through.
When is that from, Randy? What year is that from?
I don't remember. But it's fairly, I think it's fairly recent, 80s, 90s, somewhere in there.
Right.
Of course, Mark is so productive, and I mean, his stuff just goes everywhere. So
Yeah. I was
hard
shocked, surprised to see it.
to pin that down.
Yeah. There we go. Whoop, not that. Not that.
a
We'll get to
Rockwell?
that. That's what I was aiming at right there.
Charles Vess.
Charles
Wow.
Vess. Sorry for my poor aiming, but there was quite a crowd there, and a couple of paintings I couldn't. At the time when we were going through the exhibit, I couldn't photograph because there was.
Is that
such
a
a group.
watercolor? Because
Yeah,
the paper
I would
at the
say
top
that
looks bold, doesn't it? At the
yeah,
top?
that's probably a watercolor or a Dr. Martin dye, something like that on there. It's a
Yeah.
beautiful palette though,
Yeah.
or a watercolor.
I like the center wave. It's that Japanese guy. What's he called? Hakusai.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, Charles
there.
has got this incredible technique of layering his watercolors, just
Yeah.
hundreds of layers of
Yeah.
thin washes. Just amazing.
And the thing is you would look at this, most of the illustration, especially the more modern illustration work they had there, was cover work. And you would expect the logo would be over top of the people and the wave for the book,
yeah.
the name of the book and the author and all that.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. It was actually through the bottom part of the dragon's, or the middle of the dragon's tail,
Huh.
and it gatefolded around the book cover.
Wow.
They had a black band that ran right across, right above the hand or the foot. Here, there was a black band between the foot, and it took off the top of the mast of that boat all the way
See,
across.
to me, like we just said, to me, the artist has left the gap for any lettering above the people.
Exactly.
You
Sure.
know,
Yeah.
so he's thought it through, and somebody else thought, no, we won't do that.
Yep.
What does the artist know? You know.
nothing.
Oh, that's Mignola, isn't it?
Oh
Yep.
boy.
It is.
Look
That's
at
a Hellboy cover.
Oh.
And that
Look at
was about 13 inches tall, 14 inches tall, maybe.
Look at Hellboy when he's
About-
punching that little guy. That little guy is on his way up, isn't he?
Yeah.
Sure.
Do you understand what I mean? It's
Just
fabulous, isn't it? And the other guy's obviously on his way down. He just whacked him, and it's just
Oh my
brilliant.
God, yeah.
Look at that.
Rawr.
tumbling.
Hellboy, the Wild Heart.
Is that
Or the
crazy?
Wild
Yeah,
Hunt.
don't-
I'm sorry,
don't you hate it
2009.
Don't you hate it when these artists are younger than you are?
Trust me,
Thanks.
you never
Thanks,
burn
mate.
the hatred that
It's
never
like
ends.
it's like policemen, isn't it? You know, you're getting old when the policemen are younger than you are.
I still have a copy of all of Mignola's Fafford and Gray Mouser stories. Just amazing.
Oh yeah.
And that all in that great style. Whoop, not that one. All in that one.
Well, when Mignola makes a fight scene like that, it's that phrase. It's all asses and elbows, as they say.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Oh hell, another Hildebrandt. No,
Another Greg Hildebrandt.
Oh,
Look at that sunset on that turtle thing.
Hildebrandt's palette it just amazes me constantly. But I'm really attracted to the bright painters anyway. Rembrandt and or not Rembrandt, but Remington, and I've got another one. Got another one here to show that I just absolutely loved right there.
Oh, N.C. Wyeth. That's Wyeth.
N.C.
right?
Wyeth. Yep.
Yeah.
I just got a book of his work. And then I walk into the exhibit and that painting is in it. It's just blown away.
I just thought of a great caption for that painting. The guy in the red is saying, "I told you this underwater breathing apparatus would work. I've just walked from New York across the Atlantic."
No, I think he's walked from Australia because it's Bruce on the beach.
It's Bruce on the beach. Yeah.
Yeah.
1921.
G'day, mate. I've got this
That's
new
what that is.
system on. I've been able to walk all the way without using me budgie smugglers.
It's Bondi Beach, isn't it?
Oh my
Or
God.
There you
Botany
go.
Bay. Botany Bay.
Can you let me on completely dry land? I'm so sick of this water.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, is
There
that
we
a
are.
Boris?
That's Boris.
Yeah, it's a Valero.
I've never seen that before. That's one of his. Wow.
Hang on.
These are the D&D ones.
You can look at it closer here. Give me just a second to pull this up.
Reminds me of a cover of one of the Waterdeep novels. Or I forget the name of the trilogy.
Oh, are you familiar with this one, Allison?
It looks familiar. It looks like one of the D&D novel covers back from the 80s. The Time of Trouble series. Might be the Waterdeep cover, but I'm not positive.
He's another prolific one, isn't he?
Yeah.
Boris. Oh my God.
Yes.
There's a
What
tighter
a
shot
great
on it.
job in that
Awful.
gold armor. Oh my
Yeah.
God, isn't that gorgeous?
It's off of my Photoshop.
Jeez. I always give Boris credit for his imagination of monsters and creatures. I just love the way he,
That picture does not do the detail justice at all.
Oh no, I don't imagine.
No.
So.
That is already pixelated out way too much. So, but yeah, it's a beautiful painting.
Oh,
You can see my reflection off of the glass. Yeah,
Yeah, and that one as well.
sorry about that.
It's like photo bombing, isn't it?
It is.
Zimmerman photo bomber, some of the world's best artists.
he bombs himself. I can't believe it.
But yeah, I was happy to go. It was really a good time.
Oh God, it
Good.
must have been just a
Go and
huge
see.
pleasure. Oh my God, just
And,
the Fusetta alone would have been worth going. Just the one painting, the one original.
Yeah.
Oh,
There was a few amazing surprises there. That was on display.
it's
think
not
that's-
a.
Is that
No,
proud? I
It's
think
not
that's
Layla
Proud.
Dowling, is it? No.
The reason they had that on display is because it was a reference off of another famous painting that they also had on display.
Oh, I
Rock-
see.
Rockwell.
Okay.
Isn't
Yeah.
that gorgeous?
Uh,
They had 3 Rockwells there. 2 of them were
Yeah.
fantasy oriented, and this one because they had the other illustration and they were showing how it was a tribute or homage to this iconic image. That was
How big is
inspired
that image, Randy? Is it about just a A4 size, a bit bigger maybe?
No, it's not. It's bigger. It's
Right.
bigger than that. It's about 18.
Right,
I would say 18 wide by about 24 tall, maybe
right.
18 inches. Yeah.
I love the fact this was done back in the day when artists were given leeway to actually help construct the cover itself with
Yeah.
graphics and all that as part of the painting. It's just
It's a
amazing.
very iconic Saturday Evening Post cover. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
They also had a couple of other fantasy pieces that he had done, or fantasy oriented pieces.
I've never seen this one before.
I never had either.
It's got Ilya Kuryakin in
Yeah.
there. Steve
And I've got a
McQueen.
lot of Rockwell books, but I don't ever remember seeing that.
Ringo
I don't
Starr.
remember that.
Yeah,
piece.
Ringo's there, yeah.
I was gonna say it looks like Ringo. Yeah. Wow.
Is that the Queen?
It's,
be.
It's Prince Philip, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not,
This was
it's not a
probably
very good
done-
queen.
Probably
No, I
done
mean-
quite a while ago.
Oh yeah, no.
That guy
no,
between the head between Prince Philip and whoever that lady is looks like Sam Giancana.
Oh yeah.
Painted a lot of different faces on
That's
purpose.
Doesn't that look like just above the guy with the turban, the gal with the black hair? Doesn't that look like Jacqueline?
Jackie Onassis.
Jackie Onassis, maybe.
Yeah.
Just
I
because
think,
of
I
the
think
black
it's Liz,
hat.
I think it's Liz Taylor,
I was
isn't it?
about to say, is it
Oh,
Liz
Liz
Taylor?
Taylor.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would make more sense.
And the head coming out of her face looks like Cristiano Ronaldo, a footballer, but I think it's supposed to be Sean Connery.
Mm,
Oh boy, it could be, couldn't it? The very young Connery.
Yash.
Oh, I see the Ilya Kuryakin.
Yes.
I see that.
Yeah.
There he is. I see him now.
But of course, Cristiano wouldn't be on it, would it? Because this was done probably before he was born.
Yeah.
Probably.
Oh no.
In the book, there's an entire chapter devoted to Rockwell and his influence.
Wow.
Wow.
And that particular illustration, I'm afraid, isn't in that chapter. I thought pretty sure it was in the book.
Yeah, I think
Who-
that's
who do
definitely
you
Liz
think
Taylor,
this-
though.
this guy to the far right with the baton, who would we think that is?
It looks like, to me, it looks like what's he called? Gone with the Wind. What's he called? What's he
Clark
called?
Gable?
Clark Gable.
Clark Gable, yeah.
It's probably a composer of some
Yeah,
Yeah, I was
kind.
going to say,
Could be.
Is it
popular
Gershwin or
composer
something?
at the time.
I don't see that piece at all. They do reprint a couple of the Saturday evening.
I'm sure
post
there's somewhere on the internet there's a guide as to exactly who everybody is.
I'm sure.
Yeah. Wow.
Mm.
I would be surprised if there wasn't something like that on the internet.
There's another Rockwell.
Wow,
Oh
look at
my
that.
goodness gracious! You kidding me?
I don't remember seeing that either.
Oh, ever.
Before. Yeah.
And
Wow.
I pride myself in having a pretty complete collection of Rockwell's works, and I've never. Wow.
It's this real and imagined fantastical Rockwell. It's a chapter. So,
Oh, man.
and they have a
That's
number of
the
his
thing is, most
Saturday
people
evening
are.
post covers.
Yeah, most people are thinking Rockwell is just pure Americana stuff, but he did.
Yeah.
He really branched.
This painting was also there, and I took a picture of it, but it turned out too blurry.
Oh, man.
Looking at a gnome
I find
leprechaun.
I find those kind of paintings where the artist is obviously extremely skilled and they draw something or they paint something that's normal and then there's something fantastical in it. I find those incredibly engaging. I find them probably more engaging than like, I don't know, an image of a dragon or something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like
there's
something super engaging about the normality and then the oddity.
Yeah.
Fantastic stuff.
I don't ever remember seeing this either, but it's a heck of a piece. Just phenomenal.
Yeah. Which
Kid
really
reading a
isn't
book,
that
seeing himself
surprising,
tonight.
considering how Rockwell is such a huge fan, and actually right from the school of guys like Wyeth and Pyle and all those.
Yeah.
He was a huge, he followed right in their footsteps. So I'm not surprising he carries some of that in a lot of his works. Man.
Wow.
A man and his mermaid.
Look at the back of his neck.
Oh yeah, that fold of skin. That's
Mm.
just
And then the folds on the apron thing.
Yeah.
And look how there's no solid blacks as well, because then there's no such thing as a solid black anywhere.
yeah. Wow.
All that light going in.
Yep.
Lovely.
Ugh.
Beautiful work.
Just amazing.
Were those all part of the exhibit?
No.
Oh no, it just
No, they only had 3 Rockwells there. The one of the 2 kids, the one with the leprechaun with the guy, all done in sepia tones, next to the fire, and the one with the 2 Arabians and the crowd in the background. I wish I had taken a picture of the plate on that explaining what everything was.
When I was in New York a few years ago, there was about 10 years ago, there was going to be an exhibition of Van Gogh. That was going to be the world's all the Van Goghs were going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
oh wow.
And then, so obviously I was going to at the Guggenheim, so I was going to go and see that. But then on the TV news a couple of days before the event, they said that the police and the FBI had got wind it was going to be a hit, a heist of all this sunflower paintings and all the Starry Night. So it didn't go ahead. It was cancelled.
Wow.
Well, right, okay, that makes
That's
sense. So
surprising.
they obviously don't feel like they've got a good police force then.
Maybe
Well,
they thought somebody might blow it up or something. I don't know, but yeah. It's scary, isn't it? But imagine seeing all those paintings all on one wall, so to speak.
Well, if there would ever be a collected series of works, that would be worth somebody's effort and time and trouble to try and heist it. It would be those. I mean,
when was that event supposed to be?
You talking to me?
The one where the heist canceled it. The potential heist.
I think it was about more than 10 years ago. It'd be about 2004-05.
Wow.
So was that around the same time that the Elizabeth Stewart Gardner Museum got robbed? Because it could have been off that. Because that was one of the biggest art thefts in history that nobody still knows who the hell did it. So
Really?
Crime does pay, apparently.
Wow.
Sometimes only when you can get away with it.
The point of that kind of thing to me is, where is that painting going to go?
Yeah.
somebody wanted that painting, didn't they?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
it's definitely in some private hands someplace, and
Yeah.
you'll never find it until they probably die.
Yeah, some oil.
And even then, you might not.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
It's like those places in Switzerland, isn't it, with the Nazi gold in and all that sort of stuff. They reckon there's a few pieces in one of those vaults or something up that way. I don't know.
oh yeah,
Yeah, something like that.
that's you're always you always can't help but be a little curious about some of these people who are so wealthy you'll never hear of them. I mean, they're not on any list. They're not on any. They have no notoriety, no public face, and they're so incredibly filthy wealthy that they would have some of these in their own private estate. You know, just
Charles Santino sent this illustration in. Land of Enchantment.
That's a great one.
Little something to look at.
Isn't that wonderful?
Beautiful.
Oh,
And they're reading books, and that's what we see.
Yeah.
All the characters from books.
Gotta love books.
That's the whole idea.
That's awesome.
Yep. Robin Hood.
And it's Merry Men.
Treasure Island, Alice in Wonderland, Tom.
Yeah.
You know,
Is that also a Rockwell? I'm pretty sure it
Yeah.
is.
I think it is, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's
That's
right.
right.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah,
There's the
it's a
signature
Rockwell.
there.
Rockwell.
Yep.
Yeah.
Look at that. Just beautiful.
Peter Rabbit.
Thank you, Charles, for sending that in. You're always welcome to come in whenever you can.
Oh man,
Yeah, the Cat and the Fiddle
yeah.
down here in the corner. Robin Hood, Mother Goose, or Mary and her little lamb. Alice.
That's it, Mary Little Lamb. That's right.
Yeah.
Long John Silver.
Yar.
Just a little of everything. Just beautiful.
Oh, Robinson
Pretty hand.
Crusoe to the very far right.
Yeah,
Mother
Robinson
Goose.
Crusoe, right there.
Not Mother Goose.
Mother Goose.
Mother Goose. The
Yeah.
cat and the fiddle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's the
Oh, Little Red Riding Hood is right
Red
there.
Riding Hood.
Yeah.
Who's behind Mother Goose? What's that?
And
Is that Mother Goose here?
Shahrazad. Yeah, is that Aladdin with the up
Could
there?
be.
Yes.
Yeah.
Aladdin.
Yes, it is.
I was
Who's the
thinking
one-
that or Shahrazad.
I'm not sure who the person with the torch
Yeah.
is here.
No, I meant immediately behind. Oh, sort of. It's in front, but not behind. Is that like Rumpelstiltskin or something?
Right here or here.
No, yeah, there, there.
Oh, yeah.
Above the boy.
It
What's
could be,
that?
yeah.
Bit
Yeah, that
weird.
definitely could be.
Who's
Staff.
behind the pirate's parrot on the shoulder? Who is?
Ooh.
Looks like
Back
an
there.
Oriental.
It looks like a Robin Hood or a knight character. Galahad, maybe. No, it's got a hood on.
No, yeah.
Could be anything.
There's a
Oh, it's the
female
white
figure.
rabbit down there.
Yeah. right
This
there.
is wonderful, isn't it? It's just
Oh, my
gorgeous.
God.
Gorgeous.
It is.
What a fantastic use of color palette.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah. I would love to have a print of this to hang around. This would be great. I've never seen this before. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
it's got
Robin
Rip
Hood.
Van Winkle's in there.
Yeah, Rip Van Winkle.
It has
Ah,
everybody
yeah, Rip
in
Van
it
Winkle. Yeah.
around it.
Last of the Mohicans. He's listing all of these classics around the outside
Oh,
of
I
it,
see.
ordering it. Knights of
Yeah.
the Round Table.
It's great the way that little lamb doesn't want to go, does it?
Yeah,
Yeah. Rip
exactly.
Van Winkle.
He's probably thinking, I want to chew those books they're reading. They look
Yeah.
Yum, yum.
like
Romeo and Juliet.
That's too good. That's too good.
Romeo and Juliet, probably the Shakespeare play I hate the most. I generally love Shakespeare, but I hate that play.
As popular as that is, that is regarded by a lot of actors as one of the worst plays to do. Because they say it's you can't go anywhere with it. They say, guys like Ian McKellen talk about how it's just, it's impossible to play it in any way other than just one or two different ways. He says it's just a headache to do it.
Does anybody have any idea how big that painting is?
I would
I bet it's
imagine
big.
it's quite large, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Hey, can we see the influence on Scott Gustafson's work by a piece like that? So much of Gustafson's work is so much along that line. You can see where Rockwell,
Charles also sent this and said that it's faded now.
What?
The painting. Oh, sorry. I need to
Trying to
actually need
confuse
to
you,
share
Scott.
my screen. Yep, right there.
Oh wow!
He said that
Oh,
it's faded now.
Yeah, that really faded.
How did that? Is it with Rockwell's oil paint technique? How did that fade? Was it left in
Must
might have
like
been in
sunlight
harsh
or
light.
something. Yeah.
Oh, that's a crime. Oh my God.
He sent me to a site. Little boy and girl lesson. Oh, they're selling the wall art for it from Fine Art America.
Oh my God.
Fineartamerica.com is selling an original print of the original look.
I'll get right
Wall
on
art's
that.
$27.
Sure.
Yep.
Wow.
I've got a Rockwell inspired drawing here if you want to see it.
Yeah.
Hang on just a moment. There we are.
Oh,
Yeah.
Nice. Very nice.
Very good, Glenn. Very good. Very good.
Cool.
Love it. Love it. Love it.
No, that's fantastic.
That's very good. Very good.
It just had to be done.
Oh yes.
Because sometimes you have to.
You just got to do it.
You know, the thing that reminds me is those classic
Classic
paintings. The one Leyendecker, where it's an artist sitting in front of his easel, and he's got a small little iron stove cooking a sausage. You know, and it's like the very picture of a struggling artist trying to survive. It's just a wonderful painting. I don't know if I can't place it where it was probably another Saturday Evening Post cover.
Charles has messaged me and said that painting is very big. That's what he said.
Oh, man.
There he is again. Every time you hear that ding, every time a bell rings, Charles sends me a message. Sunlight did it.
Hey, let me tell you guys a charming story about over here in Muskegon at the Hackley Public Library, which is one of the many institutions that Charles Hackley, who was a great lumber baron back in the early 1900s, he had created for the city. And it's a beautiful library. It looks like a castle. It's just wonderful. And up in the children's section on the second floor, there was a mural started by an artist back in the late 50s. And it never got completed until 40 years later, when that same artist was still around, and they got the funds together to have him complete that mural. So it's this beautiful children's, literature mural on the walls of this children's section of the museum, where one half is 40 years ago and the newer other half is just from like 10 years back or whatever. And it's just amazing. I should go and get pictures of it and show you guys.
I got to get
along the same line of what we're looking at.
I got to get a video clip that Luke Stone has. It's got from Firefly, where the lead character is pointing a gun. He goes, "Look, this is the way it goes. I do the job, I get paid."
Yeah,
that's awesome. It's great.
I do the job, and then I get paid.
I can just see that. You want this finished? Pay me.
Yeah, exactly. That should be tattooed on every modern comic artist's back right now.
Can't eat clicks and shares. Get your wallet out.
Yeah, exactly.
What years do you consider the golden age of comics? It depends.
Oof.
That's a question out of the blue. The golden age is usually defined up to the start of the Comic Code Authority.
Yeah.
Where the stamp appeared. That's 1953.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So everything pre-code is considered golden age, and then you enter the silver age.
Yes, and I agree with the fact that the silver age starts around that time. A lot of people think that the silver age only starts, I think, with like showcase number 4, where the 2 flashes of the different worlds.
No, that showcase. I think you're thinking of the introduction of the current modern Flash. A lot of people consider the silver age to have started then, but
I agree with Scott. A lot of people do consider that the start of the silver age. I would call that the second renaissance of superheroes.
Yeah.
I don't know if I call that the Silver Age because it's more of after the code is pretty much what denotes it more.
Yeah, me too. I think the Silver Age started way deeper into the 50s than that.
Well, they usually accept it as the start of the stamp, of the CCA stamp, is the start of the Silver Age. Yeah.
And
right about then, and then everybody else has their different definitions for the bronze and the tin and the poop and the.
I personally, I consider the Silver Age extends up to 1972 when we have the first issue of Conan the Barbarian, which I think is the official start. That's what I consider the official start of the Bronze Age.
I can get behind that.
I could see that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I think the Bronze Age continues up until the early 80s when the Dark Knight is published.
I would say Dark Knight Returns would be that, and Watchmen would be where things kind of turn.
What were they, 86 or so, 87?
86,
I believe is Watchmen. I think that's also Dark Knight Returns.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
I would say that's when it all changed, yeah.
I think Efren's just out to derail the conversation. What do you think about King Jong-Ji?
Good try.
Oh, okay.
We're not.
I didn't get that question. What was that question?
Yeah. King Jong-ji.
Kim Jong-ji.
Kim Jong-gi.
Yeah.
Jong-ji.
Just passed away.
We're not here for politics. Sorry, though.
Well, why would I have any thoughts?
No, he was an amazing artist.
I think he was. Oh, was he?
Oh, right. I got the wrong one.
Wrong one. Oh,
not the North Korean.
Sorry, I thought we were talking political. Yeah.
We're talking about the guy who could just.
Oh, I am so sorry. I apologize.
He was amazing. At the other end of the wall, and just have drawn everything perfectly.
Yeah.
I mean that guy was just amazing.
He's so
I mean, he was being asked
Jong-il.
about guidelines. And people saying, "Oh, you never put down sketchy lines. You just go straight for it." He said, "They said, do you not use them? Do you think that they're not useful at all?" He said, "Of course they're useful. I'm just used to doing it this way. This is the way I do it." He said, "But I would tell everybody to put sketchy lines down. What's wrong with you?"
Yeah.
He was just so matter of fact. It's like, well, this is the way that I do it, but it doesn't mean it's the only way to do it.
Unless you're born a child prodigy of impossible talent, I would use sketch lines.
Yeah, and he was so humble. He's such a lovely fellow.
Like we were saying about Kirby and Frazetta and even Frank Lloyd Wright, their guidelines are there. They're just in his head.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He sees everything down there before he starts, and it's
I think some of it must come down to the confidence in your ability.
That too.
Okay, so some people, like you say, they are so confident of their ability that the sketch lines are in their heads.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Okay, so if you're like most of us mere mortals, you're not 100% convinced of your ability. You're like, I need a little crutch there, and I need to help myself. So I'm going to put those sketch lines down in order to make it so that I can build what I want. But saying that, you look at lots of different artists, and they all have different techniques. I would consider personally, on an art level, I would consider someone like Buscema and Kirby on a level. They were both genius. Okay, but Kirby was just like start and end. It would be that. And yet, look at the way John Buscema used to draw. He would very much sketch and get things right and work things out.
So I've seen both Sergio Aragonis and Al Williamson work that way.
Yeah, so it's like different people will work in different ways.
Yeah, and a lot of times it's probably not even a matter of confidence; it's a matter of just simply you're beholden to your own technique, to your own.
A bit of that, yeah. I mean, it comes down to practice as well.
Yeah, I was going to say that we're all artists here, and there must. I mean, I've done it. I'm not claiming anything, but I put a line down, and it's the first line, and it's the line I want. We must have all done that.
Yeah,
the thing is with Kirby and Buscema and all these people is that they do it all that way.
Yes,
they're super confident and talented.
Yeah. And again, they were all working on deadline too, so it was what it was. There it is. There's a line.
I've had a few golden moments where literally the drawing just happened start to finish, almost no preliminary whatsoever, and it is almost. I mean, almost orgasmic, if I can say.
Yeah.
It's almost a magical event,
right through.
Yeah.
Right from the brain to the hand to the paper. Yeah.
I've said many times.
My first sketch I was doing for something. First sketch I was doing was something. Didn't like the way it was coming out, so I redid it.
Oh,
there you go. Lovely.
Nice.
And same thing with this one.
Let's see.
Hang on.
So I started with that, did that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, they're both good.
isn't it amazing? It just and Allison, but wasn't there a certain level of satisfaction to that that's almost hard to describe?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I completely agree. There's definitely when I was just doing it, I'm like, no, this isn't working. And like if you see my sketch lines on things when I rough things out, they're so messy. And then I, use a kneaded eraser and find the lines underneath it, lighten everything down. Then I draw over it.
Yeah.
But like my stuff
I've
is
heard that-
super sketchy when I'm doing it. Oh, this
I've
is
heard
me.
that- Oh, who's that by?
This is me.
Oh, awesome.
And this
I was
is me.
going to say that's referred to as trying to find the line, quote unquote.
Yep.
Aren't we all trying to do that?
Like that's a finished page that I did.
Oh, nice.
There we go.
It's good color. I like that color.
Yeah, I'm prepping a bunch of stuff to go to my flatter right now. So
awesome.
Trico's in the house. Morning. Finally caught the live show again. Thank you,
I need to
Professor.
ink that.
Good to see you in the
But like
house.
this is one of my rough pages. This finished pencils, but it's like that's what it looks like there, and you can still see like a bunch of my rough lines in there. Like
Sure.
Right up in here, you still see where I'm trying to find the form and stuff.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, the character's still there. I mean, I actually sketched in the head before I put the hood on.
Oh yeah. There we
Oh, yeah.
go. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that's the way to keep your foundation strong.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, you've got to draw through things.
Yeah.
Even if you don't have to finish the drawing, just so long as you're
Right.
aware of the dimension throughout. That's a big thing that a lot of artists will do. And like someday you'll see this dynamic pose where you've got this superhero and the arm is pulled back like a punch. It's pulled back to the hip, and the forearm is like too low or too high. You just look at it and you go, what? It's detached. That forearm is detached from the whole body. What's going on there? And it's because they haven't drawn the limb through.
Right.
They haven't understood where. And again, we were talking about earlier about having art. You don't have to be anatomically 100% there if you know the rules, you know anatomy, and you move it on and stretch it and do dynamics. It's not about that. It's literally about if you put the arm too far down the body, the eye's going to go, what the hell is going on there? And it's going to detract from any storytelling, from any purpose you might have in the image. So there is that. It's a terrible tightrope that we all walk, and you have to find that balance.
Yeah.
Looks like you're in somebody's hate list, Russ.
Sorry?
It looks like you're in somebody's hate list. What was that last comment, Randy?
That was Marvy.
Oh,
What did Marvy say about me? What's he saying?
Marvy says Russ on my hate list too now.
Oh, why? What have I done now? I'm on the list.
I think that's hate in a good way.
I think you're not sending in payments, Russ. You're not.
No, I've finished. I'm broke. It's all over.
Efren says, "Yeah, I agree, Marv. The classic are the best. The classics are the best." Efren says, "Which years do you consider we already went there? Cool, all cool. Yep, already there."
Bernie Wrightson has been quoted as saying that a lot of the times when he would draw, he says that he can just see the drawing sitting on the paper, and he just traces over what the lines he sees.
Yep,
and that's amazing to me.
That's like having like it's almost like having like a photographic memory.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's kind of you've got the image because we all have different processes. We're talking about them here, and you have an image in your mind as to what's going to go down on the paper, and it doesn't always get there, But being able to have that ability of almost projecting the image onto the paper through your eyes and your imagination and going, oh, I'll just trace that.
Yeah,
that's an amazing ability to have.
Yeah, I kind of wish I could do that, but I'm definitely not that good. So.
And the thing is that now, if you go to somebody like Neil Adams, where a lot of times he was just recently said, matter of fact, I prompted him to talk about this through the chat they had on their live stream, is that he almost exclusively is always working through the drawing as he's doing it. And yet it was his amazing drawing ability, which is obviously stellar, but his amazing ability to draw and his dedication to making what he imagines come through, but working through the entire process in the middle of the drawing was just, I mean, the fact that guy put so much work into every drawing he did. He was nowhere near the technique Wrightson did. I talked to him about that. He said, no, that's not how I do it. And the idea that John Buscema is like a cross between the two, because Buscema was apparently known for having an almost photographic memory. And yet he would always work through a drawing fairly loosely. And then it wasn't too long before he went right to the tight finishes. And it's just amazing to me. That's just
enough lines on paper to see it and to give him enough confidence to do the finishes.
That's to make it real.
What it is. Yeah.
Yes.
That's where that's the target for me. The target for me is to not rely as much on pencils and just be able to put something looser down and let myself go with the ink. That's the target. It's taken me a long time. It'll take me a long time to just get my head around that, and also techniques, things like rendering techniques and stuff like that. Just getting those as a library in your head, so that if you make that move and start moving towards pencils that are looser, and you're more confident with those ink works, that you've got those things in your toolbox.
But don't forget, you've got to get your foundations right. It's like a building, isn't it? If the foundations aren't right, it doesn't matter how good it looks, it'll fall down. So if your pencils aren't as bang on as you can get them to start with, however little detail you might put in them, the inking and all the other stuff is just it's the scenery of it, really. You've got to have that. We all know here, you've got to get the foundation of a drawing right, because if the foundation is right, then it's right.
Yeah, it's far easier to ruin good pencils with inks than it is to make them work.
Because I would say that if any one of us here did a pencil drawing of something, all five of us would ink it differently.
It'd look completely different. Yeah.
But hopefully we would all retain what was below, which is, we've said many times, which is why Joe Sinnott and Frank Giacoya and those people were so good at inking, because you can still see who was underneath it, like Gene Colan or Kirby or whoever it was. And that to me is one of the most important things about an inker, that he doesn't swamp the pencils of a different artist.
Well, say for instance, if say Russ were to do a pencil drawing and all the rest of us were to ink it, we know one thing: it would all be vastly improved. We know that. But no, I tell you, one of the biggest problems I always have, even to this day, with all the experience under my belt, is that a lot of the times I have the worst time. I know all the knowledge, I have all this ability inside me, but it's like that drawer in your kitchen that's got everything in it, and you have to search through it to find what you're looking for.
Which one?
That's what it's like sometimes going through my mind and trying to make a drawing work. It's this constant searching and digging through the pile of stuff I have. And it's almost as if it's never been organized to the point where I can just simply reach in, get what I need, and use it. It's always this struggle to sort through all of this knowledge and ability.
And you have a tendency, because I
part
think
of the fun of being an artist, though.
I think about that as well, Scott. And
what's that, Russ?
I think about that as well, Scott, because you kind of doing a drawing, you think, should I use this kind of shade line? Should I use this kind of feathering? What how's this best going to work? And then you look at other artists, and you say, for instance, like Buscema or whatever, and you think, oh my God, they're stoic. They're just like they did everything right. It was all so brilliant. But then you realize, when you look at their work in entirety, in total, that they have changed, and that they have adapted as that, and they have worked and moved forward, and then it gives you the inspiration to say, okay, fair enough. I might not be using the exact right technique there on that image, and I did on that image, but it's like, it's okay to grow. It's okay to you don't have to be that particular style forever.
That's true.
You grow into it, and I've been on such a journey for the last 15 years now. No, not 15 years, 13 years now. And I don't think I'd recognise my style now if I'd have been shown it 13 years ago.
Oh yeah,
And it's just amazing how you change and how you adapt, and looking at the people that inspire you. It's always more of an inspiration to go back and see their early work and to look at their later work and see how they have grown themselves, because it gives you the inspiration to say, well, I can grow, I can do that. You know, I might not be able to be them, obviously. I know I'll get they're a benchmark, they're a stellar benchmark that you look to. You won't be them, you won't ever get there, but at least you shoot for the stars, you'll hit the moon. You know.
Yeah, I think I'm sorry, Brady. Go ahead.
I was going to say, let me catch up on the chat a little bit because I'm getting way behind on it.
Oh, okay.
On that that Rockwell illustration we were looking at, Charles also said that it is on display in I think he said Rye, New York, where he saw it.
In where, New York?
Let me find that here. I think he said Rye. It's in the library, in a library in Rye, RYE, New York. He's seen it, only it's been faded by the sunlight.
Oh,
the original. Sad. The original has. It is. Efren says he likes the cat and the fiddle. On that illustration, Marv says, I grew up in private libraries, and during those years, my mind traveled through time. I was amazed by by dinosaurs and ancient cultures. It's amazing what illustrated books can do to a kid's mind.
Oh, here.
Well, Carl Sagan said that, didn't he? He said a book is a time machine because you go back in time as to, if you're reading about the Romans or whatever, you go back in time to them, and then you're back in time for the person who wrote it as well. You're in their time, so
I think that's as close to an actual time machine we'll ever have. Honestly.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I can listen to Carl Sagan all day.
Joe's in the house. Morning from a desk with Small Press Publisher.
Yo, Joe.
Joe.
Word of the day.
Joe, I didn't get my Rosema bet in on time. Joe says,
precedent.
So my guides are in my head too, but I screw that up very quickly and do something else. Yeah. Says drawing relaxes. Efren says, refrain.
Don't know about that.
I still draw from skeleton first, just how I do it. It helps me keep proportions correct. Yep. Marvy says, very dynamic, Allison.
Thank you.
Allison, how many pages will it have?
Between 48 and 64.
Oh, nice. Wow.
There's a definite number for you.
There's a volume.
Well, my writing technique isn't as codified as my art technique is. I build everything like I'm writing an RPG, and then I draw it out, and I see how much of it changes during that whole time frame.
Yeah.
So,
Do you carry the story in your head as you're drawing, or do you write it out in notes, or how
I
do
have a
you?
loose outline. Actually, I have an outline right next to me.
Do you have it laid out by page? Page 1, this happens. Page 2, this happens. No?
Nope, I definitely do not do that because I found I never get it done if I do that.
I hear you.
Oh wow.
So
you can never make it all fit, or because when I write for somebody else, I usually break it down by page.
I lose interest.
Okay.
And I won't work on it.
Is because it's too rigid of a format, or is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So what I did was that right there is literally the outline of the first chapter.
It looks like a white piece of paper.
Oh wait.
Oh, there it is.
I can see it.
Starting to see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So my first arc, I should say. This is a few chapters, but that's the first arc.
Okay.
And it basically I make an outline and I say this is what's going to happen. Then I draw it, and it's going to take. I have a loose idea in my head of what it's going to do.
I've heard other writers refer to that technique you showed us the example of. They call that graphing out the story first.
Yeah.
And then I do something like this.
Hang on, let me try to hit the right button here. There we are.
These
you make it official.
These are major locations that are in my story.
Okay.
What are they again?
these are locations in my storyline.
Oh, okay.
And then I have on the other side, these are the characters that will appear.
Oh, nice.
Bloody hell, that's organised.
So I did that, and then I literally have my full outline kind of what I want here.
Oh, it is like an RPG.
Yep,
It is.
I used
Yeah.
a fake creation sheet for all this and part of the Dresden file stuff. And these are some of the major players and themes that are going to be in it.
And you can visualize and draw your story from that foundation. That's amazing.
I just do chicken scratchings and spiral pads. That's amazing.
This is my lead character. I built her as a character sheet.
Okay. Oh, wow.
And that's her stats.
Amazing.
Cool.
It's fascinating to see the various ways of going about constructing.
I always do thumbnails. Can I show you this page? I always just do quick thumbnails. I'll just show you one page. This page here, where you can see it. Can you see it?
Barely.
Coming, get in there.
Just little sketches, and then that.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, I added a panel. There's only 3 panels on the original. But that's what I do. I just do roughs and then work it from there. I don't do that straight on the board. I do that on a separate piece of paper, obviously, because
I also do thumbnails on separate pieces of paper and stuff like that. Like when I want to get a page design out, I rough things out, and I actually rough them out at full size.
Right.
I do like 11 by 17 pages. I just have crappy copy paper, and I loosely draw them all out on that. Then I lightboard it to my final pages.
No, I don't do that. I'd redraw it. I just because I change things, you know.
Yeah, I tend to like to go from a rough plot, you know, basically just your, 2 or 3 paragraphs describing the whole story. And then I'll just take sections of what the plot says and I'll just do sketches of what I think that section is going to look like. And then when I have all these sketches done, then I rearrange it into pages. Right. And it's very catch as catch can for me. I should think
it's a good job when they're all the same, isn't it?
Everybody works different. Yeah.
I used to run pretty major RPGs at some of the bigger conventions. Like I ran Vampire the Masquerade LARPs and things like that.
That explains a lot. Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why I do all my breakdowns as RPGs. I actually get paid to run RPGs for people. I have a game I'm running today at 1:00 for a bunch of kids, and I get paid to run the game at a game store.
Oh, good deal. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Is that you said Vampire? Is that the White Wolf properties?
Yep. It was all White Wolf when I did it. They still existed when I was running them, and I worked with a group called Dark Duality.
Excellent. I got to do a little illustration for White Wolf. Unbelievably fun stuff. It was a article detailing a battle between ninjas and werewolves. Oh, I can't believe it was
That sounds amazing.
Oh my god.
I've probably read it.
Oh, it was just ninjas versus werewolves. Oh my god. I couldn't believe when I got that. It was just so love it. So did Russ melt away or what's going on, Russ?
I think he's stepped
I
away
see him now.
I'm here.
He's working at a finer detail. Either that or trying to find a book at the bottom shelf of his computer.
No, I was just you can have if we're all showing a process. I thought
he's playing with his monkey.
I haven't spanked it yet.
Hey Randy, he's spanking the monkey.
Monkey.
Oh, there you go.
This is another problem I don't have.
Use the spank ray.
Yeah, that's like think yourself lucky, young lady.
Oh dear.
So here's my process. There you go. You want to have a quick look?
Marvy says that's a great topic for a show. How you structure your characters and stories.
I don't know about that.
I was going to say a Spank the Monkey show. That'd be awesome. With spank rays and everything.
I don't think I qualify to be a part of that show. It's not going to work for me.
Oh dear.
Well, Allison, we will take any constructive criticism you may want to offer. Trust me.
You don't want my criticism.
There you go.
Well, Walter Lantz used to not to write scripts, but making sketches for every scene of Woody. It was his way of working. Everybody works different. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody
Okay,
works
Randy?
differently. I tried to work
Sir.
from hard scripts. I have a hard time with it. So
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. Different
There you
ways.
go. Right. So those are just those are effectively when we were talking about finding the lines.
Yeah.
Yep.
yeah,
That's what I'm doing there. I'm just finding the lines.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. But there would be earlier sketches. So if I just turn that off.
No. What size is that, Russ? What
Well,
size are you?
Oh, there you go. There's like very primary sort of that's effectively my getting some reference in for stuff in there.
Mhm.
That's a very early sketch.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. And then so once I've got all those in, oops, turn all that off.
There you go.
There you go. So that's the final pencils there.
Huh.
Sweet.
Yeah.
that's sweet.
So no, that beginning thumbnail you showed, those
Yeah.
raw little sketches.
Yeah.
Is that done at a small?
Yeah, well, that what it's done is it's done on the page that I would do the pencils on because this is all digital. Okay,
Oh, I
so
see.
I can zoom out and I can effectively make my thumbnail like I used to do on a light box, yeah, or on just on a board. I can do my thumbnails at the size that I would have done my thumbnails, but all they are is just a zoomed out version of the same document.
Okay.
So then I can, as I find my lines, I just zoom a little bit closer in each time, find the lines, and then eventually that turns into
Right.
that turns into this.
That's what I like. One of the things I like on
Yeah.
that page, Russ, is the way that you've hand lettered the ambulance on the side. Whereas,
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I
'cause
drew that in.
You know, it fits the rest of the drawing. If you understand what I mean.
Yeah.
If you'd have put it on,
Yeah.
if you'd have put it on with a typeface, it wouldn't work. It would
Yeah.
would be too pristine. But that's great.
Oh yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah. So that and these are actual physical. These are physical inks. These done with brush and pen.
Right.
Okay.
So these are real inks. They're not digital. Okay. So you get into that.
Are you coloring these too?
I coloured these ones as well. Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
Nice.
So what I did was I did flats. I did
Mhm.
my own flats and then just brushed over the flats
Yeah.
and created effects over there. Because I'm doing my own flats, I could effectively put the correct colours in. So the colours were right from the start. You know, it's like with flats, you get lots of different colours and you like pick them out. So I just did the brush work over the top. And what we wanted to get was this sort of animated series-ish feel to it. You know, it isn't too dark because obviously it's for kids. So
Right.
yeah, that's the way that came out.
Amazing.
Very good. Very
That's
good.
awesome.
Yeah, because you see a little of the animated in that. Exactly what
little.
you said. I see
Yeah.
a little bit of Joe Staten influence in
Oh,
there as
wow.
well.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really sweet work. Just
It's
amazing.
the idea was because obviously we were talking earlier. Again, I've got like varying styles now.
Mhm.
I'm doing
Yeah.
different things.
Right.
The stuff I'm doing for Only Death Can Save Us is quite blocky and sort of it's not rushed, but it's more like the Bronze Age stuff
Yeah.
that I love and where people were knocking it out at a rate. And I wanted to give it that feel, you know, I wanted to give it that classic Bronze Age feel. The stuff I was doing for Batman, I was taking longer on, and it had more detail into it, and it had that kind of animated sheen to it. But
Batman.
the stuff we're going to be going for you and I
Mhm.
there'll be more detail in it. There'll be more line work.
A
So
little more
it's
raw,
just
too.
yeah, and a little bit more raw as well, a lot more raw.
Fit the subject matter.
Yeah, and it's just I find it's lovely to be able to play with styles and not be stuck in one place. You know, there's something special about that.
Well, the layout of that page you just showed, the Batman, that has a very rich Bronze Age variety of posing and size and.
Thank you.
breakup
Yes,
and all that. Yeah.
I mean those aspects. I like to think those are the things that are underpinning what I do.
Mhm.
So You know the classic. Who was it? Toth. Who had that? Like all these boxes where all these panels work.
Wally Wood, yeah.
Wally Wood,
Yeah,
right?
Wally
So
Wood.
all these panels work, and
Mhm.
it's like that. It's like saying, well, these panels work, these angles work, this
Yeah.
anatomy works, this dynamic pose works. So you don't have to change it. don't broke. It ain't broke. Don't fix it.
Yeah.
Keep that
Very true.
underneath in
Yep.
your style, and then
Yep.
when you're laying over the top, dependent on the type of book that you're doing, dependent on the type of audience or the story that you're trying to tell, you
Mhm.
can change things and you can
Yeah.
make your style different.
And also, if you're gonna listen to anybody, listen to Wally Wood.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the guy
Can't
to
do
listen
worse.
to.
You know,
Can't do better.
But looking at, I've been very affected by Joe Sinnott and Joe Sinnott's combination with John Buscema.
yeah.
But I have also been deeply in love with a lot of the Conan work that was Alcala over
Yeah.
Buscema.
Oh,
Now
yeah.
I'm never going to go completely that route, but it's that stuff is inspiring me to maybe look at different ways of doing things
Yeah.
and having a different approach to my style.
Yeah, isn't
So,
yeah.
you know,
Just to underline that, yeah, I know exactly what you mean, because you can look at a piece of Jack Kirby work or Norman Rockwell work, and it will inspire you to do what you do. You don't copy what he's doing. You don't want to copy what he's doing.
Yeah.
You don't follow that line.
Yeah.
You do your own. It's like when
Yeah.
if you listen to a piece of music, it can inspire you as well. But you're not drawing about the song or anything. You just feel good.
No.
That feel good factor that artist can bring.
So with Only Death Can Save Us, I've been spotting the black quite heavily.
Right.
But moving elsewhere with my new project, I'll be doing a lot more line work. I'll be creating a lot more depth with texture rather than going for that graphic feel that I've done with Only Death Can Save Us.
Glenn's description is what it takes to be an artist. That's all part of being an artist.
Yeah. And then Russ, you can open up that Conan with that Alcala inks on it and just go and jump out the window, can't you? Because it's gonna kill you, isn't it?
It's gonna kill me.
Even though you don't want to do that, you think, oh my God.
But what you've got to do is, it's like I was saying earlier about being confident about your work and also appreciating that you aren't the artists that you love. And you never will be. And that's okay. It's okay to be there. It's okay to be you and to create your own stuff. I was with the guy that coloured I'm gonna drop a name, but I can't even remember his bloody name. The guy that coloured Watchmen.
Can't remember his name now.
I know what you're talking about.
Workman? John Workman? No, that's not him.
No, I can't. It's awful.
I'll tell you just a second.
I was going to say I can dig it up here.
I'm awful with names.
Oh, Glenn's got it on hand.
I've got it. John Higgins.
That's it. John Higgins. Right, John Higgins. I was
half right.
I was drinking with John Higgins. I was drinking with John Higgins.
Yeah.
And he was doing live art in the show that I was at, and he was saying how brutal it was and how scary it was. This is John Higgins saying this. The guy's a legend. This was this must have been 10 years or more ago.
And then what did he do? He recolored it.
Yeah, well, we won't go there. He got paid. Bless him. You got to appreciate people get paid.
And he's a pretty good artist as well, isn't he?
Oh, he is. He's
not just a colorist.
Yeah, but he was saying that to me, and his partner was there, and we were sort of chit-chatting about doing live drawings and how scary it is and our own work and moving on. And she turned around and she said, I don't draw. She said, you lot, you don't understand. It's magic. She said, you make these drawings, you do this stuff, and you're all different.
Yep.
And it's like eating cake. It's like if somebody turns up and they've got cake, it doesn't matter if it's adequate cake, average cake, the best cake in the world. It's just cake. Okay. And it's like you turn up and people go, yes, we've got cake. I have a and she was saying that's what it's like with all these artists. They all have such different styles and abilities and ranges. but you guys turn up and do this, and the people that don't draw, the people that love it, go, yeah, this is great. It's art. It's comic books. And they don't care. And
absolutely.
we as artists get so we can become so sort of pulled down by saying, "Oh well, God, I'm not as good as the person that I love. I'm not as good as Booster. I'm not as good as Alcala. I'm not as good as Rockwell." And it doesn't matter. You are what you are.
Yeah.
You bring what you bring to the party, and other people will appreciate that.
Right.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So it's
You know,
you've got to believe.
One of the most encouraging things I remember hearing, and one of the many encouraging things was about 10, 12 years ago. I was at a show and Perez was there.
Oh.
And he and I were talking shop a little bit. And I remember asking him, I have some of the worst things that happen is that I'm always trying to figure out how to get past these terrible blocks, these terrible, the terrible roadblocks I got to get through or around or over or whatever. And I said, first of all, do you have those and how do you get past them? And he said, I have those every other day. And I just thought, oh my God. And he says, and I get through them just simply by keeping going.
Yeah.
And he said, it's, if there's anything that you can count as something being on your side, and that is just simply your love and desire and tenacity to keep doing what you're doing. And that just, it just made my year. Because
having Perez say something like that.
Yeah, if Perez can say that, and he was just so incredibly generous to say that, and to give me that.
But that's part of the. I don't think it's part of the. It's necessarily part of the reality, quite at the moment. But it certainly used to be the case that you're a comic book artist. You've got a block. Get rid of it because you need to eat. It's like get on with it. You can't have a block, and it's the difference between, and this is not putting just art down, this is not putting it down, but it is the difference between being an artiste, someone who maybe even makes money out of their art or whatever, and the difference between that and being a comic book artist or a sequential artist or an advertising marketing professional illustrator. You don't get that opportunity to have a block.
Oh no! You number one rule of the day is to get the day going.
That's Get on with it.
It is. That's the biggest thing. Probably the most common thing I ran into with students that I would have, or people that try to learn from me, that would always say, "I can't get going. I can't get this work. I can't get this to do what I want." And there's very little I can tell them except you just got to keep at it. There's
keep doing it.
Well, it's like when you face that blank piece of paper. The enormity of that. You got to fill that paper with something. So that what I do is the night before, if I've got some pages marked up, I'll just do some little squiggles in the corner, so that when I come back in the next day, it's not a blank piece of paper. There's already something on it, so it's not as daunting as a blank piece of paper.
Playing mind games with yourself there, mate.
Talking about the magic.
Do what you got to do.
Yeah. Many years ago, my elder brother's son was 15 and he was doing an art project, and he wanted to do a storyboard of some military helicopters coming in, a bit of a fight and all this kind of thing, and he had to have it in the morning, tomorrow morning, and he hadn't done it, and he was panicking. So he came round. We all went to our mother's house, and he was there. And my big brother was sitting next to me. Now he's 4 years older than me, so he's obviously seen all of me. He's seen all of my life. And you'd have thought, and I was about 40 at the time, and so he's 44. You'd think he'd know what I did, wouldn't you? Well, clearly not. And Andrew said to me, he was panicking about this. I said, "Look, get some paper." So we got this A3 piece of paper, drew some squares on it, and I'm drawing helicopters, just generic helicopters, and soldiers and things like that, and did this sequence. And it took me about half an hour. Andrew was amazed, and Nigel couldn't believe it. He said, "How do you do that?" And I said, "This is what I do. Have you not noticed before?" He's so smart, this guy.
Have you just met me?
He's so smart, and he runs a multi-million-pound corporation, and you don't know what I do. Too busy being smart. Anyway, Andrew's was the best one, and the art teacher wanted to know how he suddenly learned how to draw, apparently. So, yeah, it is magic.
Yeah, it really is. It's cake.
Yeah,
it's cake. Yeah,
cake.
It's art cake. We love
Art cake. Yep.
It's funny though, isn't it? Everyone wants a piece of that cake. Have you noticed?
Yeah, they don't want to pay for it. Though.
They don't want. Yeah, they don't want to give you any money for it, but they always want you to sign it, don't they?
Exactly.
And sell it next week.
No.
Yeah.
and you try and tell them, there's recipes. I can buy you the ingredients.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want it. I can't believe you pulled up that Nancy reference, Randy. That was awesome.
Well, Capture Avenger. Good morning, everyone. Hello, Marv and Glenn. Hello, everybody. Marv E says crazy angles. Russ talking about your work.
Crazy good angles.
Crazy good angles. Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, buddy, PCA. Yep. You'd be amazed what I have back here. Anyway. Also, one last bit of video.
No comment.
No comment.
Okay. Oh,
let's see it, Randy.
It's one thing I pointed out to the granddaughter, and had to take a video of it just to show her. Is this? Sorry for the bad audio, but also at the exhibit under glass, in a cage, in a glass cage.
God.
Oh, sorry. It's a eerie.
With that on
it. Show folks that's what that illustration's for. I'm gonna have to go back and change the thumbnail for the show now. You know that, right?
Oh man, definitely. Oh my God.
We were gonna show cartoons. I had some cartoons wired up to go. We were gonna watch.
We'll have to do that next.
Yes, that's next
But
week.
now it doesn't compare to what we've been talking about here. So.
I still can't believe how lucky I feel that I could go to a newsstand or a drugstore or a comic shop and see these books come out on a monthly basis. And it had all these covers and all this interior artwork. And I was literally living through this incredibly classic era of incredible art and incredible creators on every month, every other week. I could just
you don't realize what you have until it's gone and noted.
It's gone. Don't appreciate it now.
Yeah, because I remember hunting down copies of Amazing Adventures and Captain Marvel, looking for the really rare Jim Starlin material and the stuff that didn't get distributed right. That's the main reason why the direct market started in the first place, was because a lot of these books were starting to be withheld and skimped around for collectors, wanting to take them. Howard the Duck #1, I think, was really the straw that broke the camel's back, where it was really hard to find in certain areas. And here somebody's probably still got a warehouse full of them somewhere. And that collectability market brought the collectability yearning and the higher prices for the rarer found books. So at the time, Marvel had a range of different print runs. They'd print more Spider-Man and Avengers than what they would, Killraven and Captain Marvel. Warlock was another one. All of Starlin's material always seemed to be hard to find. I mean, next to impossible. You'd go through and you'd hunt through them spiral racks. That was part of the quest, part of the fun, that you never knew. I had an arrangement with my local drugstore every Thursday that I'd pop in after school, because they didn't want to put the new comics out. I love putting the new comics out because I could take the books that I wanted.
Oh yeah, awesome.
So that was a quick, an easy arrangement for me, easy to do after school. But that was part of the fun, like you said. You never knew there was all of this great artwork that was out there at the time.
Oh yeah,
and a lot of it I never appreciated while it was out. Frank Robbins and Jack Kirby, those kind of people. You look back now and you just envy, and look at how great they are.
My first trip to an official comic shop was literally Nirvana. I could not believe I was looking at racks and racks of all of the books Marvel had put out that month. I didn't mind searching through my local little mom and pop store's spinner rack. I didn't mind doing that. It was one of my most fun things to do. But when I came across a comic shop and I realized, oh my God, I'm not going to miss anything. Yeah, it was just unbelievable. And it was
but at the same time, it did take away a bit of the fun.
That's true.
A bit of the questing, because I used to chalk off weeks, and if a book was late, I knew it. If Avengers come out a week late, I was mad.
Oh, yeah,
out there
yeah.
trying to, because I figured that it just didn't hit that spiral rack, so I had to have to go around the county, looking for a spiral rack that had it.
Well, I
I
told you
imagine.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say the people running that store probably got to the point where you would come in and they would look at you and they say, "TikTok, Randy, comics need to be put out."
No, the ladies were always nice. They really didn't care because everybody would go into the drugstore and wait for me, all the comic nuts.
Yeah.
And there was 3 or 4 other ones in the neighborhood that, one guy collected Spider-Man, one guy collected Captain America, somebody else collected Avengers, and we would all buy our own books. And then on the weekends, we'd all go over to each other's house and read everybody else's comics.
Do you know how expensive spinner racks are?
Yeah.
Good God.
Oh, I would love to have one.
I told you that story about
nowadays, especially they're getting rarer and rarer. Especially
I've been looking around, and they're like $1,000.
The real ones, real ones are harder and harder. They're going up all the time. There's a few of them that are out there that are knockoffs, and there's even particular grades because you have to get them with the patina on them. You have to be able to move them and have them squeak. This isn't even the most expensive of the one that I have here isn't even the most expensive of the spiral rack because they have another one that has the header up there that's got different cartoon faces on it. Oh, that's the one.
Yeah,
that's the gold standard.
The one with Marvel faces on.
There's Spider-Man, but there's also Archie, and there's 1 or 2 other Superman, 1 or 2 other character faces on it that says comics for kids or something. I don't
think I'm ever going to get one.
No, I don't think I will either.
Glenn, you were going to say something about a story?
Yeah. I said this before. I went into this will show you how old I am. It's my birthday next week, by the way. I might not be on the show.
Oh.
Anyway.
You're going to have to be on the show.
Yeah. I went into my local newsagent many, 50 odd years ago, and there was FF55, where the surfers zapping Ben.
Oh, yes.
And I didn't have any money. It was 10D thing, right? That was the price, and I didn't have it, and it was I'm really old because in those days you didn't go and pester anybody for money for things, you just did without,
Yeah.
So what I did, and this was like Monday morning, and I didn't get my spends or my allowance or whatever you call it till Friday, and I'd already spent it on a load of comics, and I panicked. What am I going to do? Because it didn't occur to me that I should have asked the guy behind the desk maybe to save it for me because he probably would have done. But anyway, so I just put it to the back of a pile of comics in one of the slots, Anyway, it was still there on the Friday when I got my spends and then ran round to the shop and bought it. It was still there.
Oh,
so
nice.
This is the kind of place I come from. But my golden age was 1965 to 1972 because that's when I discovered Marvel and Kirby and all that sort of stuff. And I was 10.
Oh.
And then when I wasn't looking at that, I was looking at TV21, which had the Thunderbirds thing and Frank Bellamy and all that stuff. And if I wasn't looking at that, I was looking at Ranger, which had Trigon Empire by Don Lawrence in.
Yeah.
So I've been really, as far as I'm concerned, I've been really, really blessed.
Yeah.
And then in the early 70s, when I was 16, 17, 18, David Bowie came along and Kate Bush and all these people and girls. So I lost all the comics, you see, for 10 years.
I'll definitely say girls won't ruin everything for boys. Just saying.
I didn't say they ruined it, Alison.
No,
they were my saving grace. Trust me. They
just put a pause on the comic books.
Yeah.
Unlike Glenn, I wasn't a traitor to comic books. I kept reading regardless of how many girls I knew.
Right.
So I wasn't put off.
My mother threw away all my comics.
No, don't say that.
I got you all beat. I met my wife while I was retailing at a comic shop because she reads comics.
And you moved in after 4 days, was it?
Yeah, well, we both had kids. We were going to take them out on a play date, and then we decided for ourselves to go off on a date. And
great.
We went to see Beetlejuice at the theater. That's how long ago. That's how long ago it was.
Romantic.
And I was moved in like within a week. Done. It was just done.
Lucky.
That was
lucky
it. Exactly.
I met my boyfriend through comics. So.
Oh, do you?
Yeah,
oh my God!
I met him through comics. So
there you go.
Okay, now here's a reason for all of you to hate me more than you do already. But when I collected comics all through my grade school and high school years, and when I went off to college, my mom did not throw my comics away.
There you go.
Kept them for me.
My
And then
my
at some
dad's mom
point,
did the same
about
thing.
midway
I have
through
all of his
college,
old ones.
yeah, I took all of my comics with me up to college and kept them in my room. And I remember asking her years and years later about, after hearing all these horrible stories about, oh, they were burned or they're thrown away or whatever. And I asked her, I said, Mom, how come you never threw away my comics? And she said, here's you're going to hate me. She said, well, I knew they were important to you.
Oh, I love your mum. I love your mum, Scott.
That's a mom who cares, right there.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
And
Mine
so
could-
I
had Fantastic Four #1
oh,
and the complete Kirby run to 108 or 102, and then he came back in
Oh.
number 8 in 108.
Right.
Spider-Man #1 all the way through to 78, and I won't go on. And my mother said, "You're 16 now. They're in the way. Get them out of the way." And they were under my bed. And I said to her, "How can they be in the way under the bed?" And she said, "I can't hoover under the bed without moving them. Get rid of them." So I got rid of them. Avengers, X-Men.
Oh God, you had to
Wow.
do it yourself.
I reckon
That's
it'd be
like
worth
shit
about
dog, isn't it?
$250,000. Oh, I don't know.
oh,
Yeah,
Glenn, my heart goes out to you.
I
You
love
can
your
have
mum,
my
Scott.
mom if you want her. She's
Yeah, I
still,
think she's
still
great.
around.
Tell her I love her. She's
Oh,
fantastic.
oh,
I said my dad, he went off to the military, and his mom did not throw out all of his comics.
oh, great.
She just put them up into the attic into storage.
Oh,
So years later, when I was like, I don't know, 10 or 12, we were up in New Hampshire, and he's just like, "Hey, Mom, do you have all my old comic books?" It's like, "I think Allison would like them." And she's like, yeah, they're up in the attic. He took them down, and literally, I have a full run of X-Men, partially because of him.
Oh man.
Nice.
Wow. That's great.
I have
That's
most
phenomenal.
of the Fantastic Four because of him.
Sweet.
So I don't have a 1,
celebration that, you know,
but I do have a 48, 49, and 50. So, and I got the I think it's 8, the first Hulk thing fight. So,
oh God.
Oh wow.
8 or like 16 or something. But I have.
Good for you.
I made it a point to get every Hulk thing fight.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. The Marvel Special Edition #1, I believe, had Starlin draw a Thing versus Hulk fight.
Mm-hmm.
Just a phenomenal issue all the way through. Just a wonderful Starlin work. Just
one of the first Fantastic Fours I read was Giant Size FF that had a big Hulk and Thing fight in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
awesome.
One of the
Great
downsides
book.
of having brothers, my other older brother, I had a complete run of TV-21s, with the Jerry Anderson stuff in the 60s. And I had probably about 150 of these things. And I had an argument with him, and he started to rip them up.
Oh man.
And then one day I was about 13. I'd just written and drawn and colored and lettered a 22-page comic, and my brother ripped it up.
Oh, what a rat bastard!
Yeah, he ripped it up. We had an
bastard.
argument about something else, and he picked it up and ripped it into quarters.
Brothers.
My sister ripped one of my Ninja Turtles #1s.
Oh no. Well, this is just.
They know where to get you, don't they?
Oh God.
They know where to get you. I would rather he punched me in the face,
Oh God.
But he knew that wouldn't work, so he just ripped my comic up. It took me 2 months to do it. I draw it, wrote it, I did everything. See, I even stapled the pages together. It was finished, and he ripped it into quarters.
Oh.
And I think that's when I started swearing.
Oh.
Using swear words.
Welcome to the horror story part of our program, folks.
My sister found out that learning martial arts was better than ballet after she did that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's gone from Sunday funnies to Sunday horrors. I think.
Yeah. Lots of comics, and books.
Maybe we should do a Friday morning show, Randy, about the horrors of
the horrors of comics. Yeah. I'm 48 and I never went to a comic shop.
Oh my God.
Well, you're in Portugal too, but they should have comic shops over there, don't they?
They should. Search one out, Marv.
Newsstands, probably. Every country is different. So we're all messed up here. So.
Come over to my neck of the woods. I got about 6 of them I can bring you to. So
Right.
Folks, if you were hoping to see cartoons today, it's not going to happen. So I know the thumbnail says cartoons. Maybe we'll do it next week. We'll see if we can't find anything else. We hope you've enjoyed this episode of Sunday Funnies, at least. We talked about our experiences in fantasy art and all sorts of other fun things. Good times. Hope you enjoyed the program. Scott, let folks know how they can find you.
You can see me lurking about at my Facebook page. And that's my name right there, Scott Rosenman. That's just the title of the Facebook page. Not hard to find me. You'll find my icon is of Steve Reeves' Hercules, which is, well, let's face it, I'm about as far from that as you can get. But I'm there almost every day going through all my emails and messages and stuff. And so search me out, and I'll be posting where I'll be attending some conventions this coming year. So look me up.
Making plans. Russ, let folks know how they can find you.
You can get me at russleach.com. All my social media connections are there. I also have a link to my email lists. Please sign up for that because there's lots of information coming out in the new year. Oh, we're in the new year. Coming out this year. Lots of projects. You can currently find me in the pages of, I don't know, it's somewhere over here. Batman magazine in the UK and Europe, and there you go, Batman magazine. In UK and Europe, you can also find me in the pages of Only Death Can Save Us. You can pick that up from New Haven, the wonderful publisher New Haven, on Amazon, or in fact anywhere. Books A Million, it's all over the place. You can pick up the second book, which I have just finished the last page, or very close to finishing the last page of. There you go, mate.
Nice.
Hang on. There we are.
Did you finish inking that while we were talking?
Yeah, I haven't really finished it, but it's nearly there. It's close. So that's the end. That's the end of that book. That's available on Indiegogo, and that will be winding up pretty soon. You won't be able to get one of those soon, and the edited version will go off again to New Haven, and there will be a new project announced soon. So
Awesome.
That's it. You can find all that out on russleach.com.
Absolutely. Allison, let folks know where they can find you.
Well, you can find me as part of the Indie Comics Network, also on Facebook with Alley Cat Comics, Instagram, and all those other things. Twitter actually is my actual name of Allison McClone. I can't remember if it's underscore or dot in between my names. Other than that, I stream on Fridays, arting with the Alley Cat. This week is either going to be working a bit more on my own book or drawing Rurouni Kenshin. I haven't quite decided yet, but we'll figure it out.
Cool. Glenn, let folks know where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me on the usual places on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, all sorts of places. Just put my name in Google, I'm sure something will come up. But you can also find me in the pages of this book, which shows the story, it tells the story of my two visits to Jack Kirby's house. You get that through me, and you also get a DVD of me talking with him in the studio. You can find me on a crowdfunder soon. I'm not sure which one, but my second book of Hatch, my cartoon character. And you can find me in the pages of Comics Unlimited, which is a magazine, 100-page magazine I publish every quarter. And you can find most of my stuff on Amazon. So if you put my name in Amazon, you'll see lots of magazines and books, science fiction books, children's books, all kinds of things that I've done over the years.
Cool.
10 books, I think.
Only?
Yeah.
Oh.
With another about 16 in progress.
Okay. Folks, I've been your host, Randy Zimmerman. You can find me over on Facebook and Twitter. If you look under Randy Zim, I'm over there a little more often now than I had been. But other than that, you can find me with Arrow Comics. Arrow Comics over on Facebook, Arrow Comics and Arrow Comics 3G. We're going to be expanding the line quite a bit here in the upcoming year. We've got a lot of exciting announcements coming up, so make sure you stay tuned for that. You'll see a lot of crowdfunding campaigns that'll be under the banner of Arrow Comics by individual creators lining up, getting ready to come out. There's also fundmycomic.com now that is open for beta testing, if I'm not mistaken, for people to put up their or an announcement, an email. They're at the email stage still. Once they get your email, if you want to do a campaign, you'll be able to put a campaign together for them to install once they go live with the entire site. They just have to work out a few little extra bugs yet to make sure everything's running smoothly, because you can't do a site that big without there being a problem. Yeah, fundmycomics.com. You can find a lot of my stuff over on arrowcomics.store. So go over there and take a look. That's comics with ICS at the end of it. Arrowcomics.store. There's a t-shirt over there. There's some PDFs of colorized Spank the Monkey material that aren't available anywhere else except there, and a lot of other comics like pardon?
Thank God.
Thank God. Yeah. Like Hero Bot Zero and Calico Shard. It's a fantasy title that's available over there. Paragon, which is a superhero book. I have another superhero title that we'll be making available here very shortly as we go along. That's got artwork here by J.R. Harris, as well as there's this book here. There's Hero Bot Zero 2, available with cover by Mr. Scott Roseman.
Oh,
it's
so
that?
beautiful.
With all sorts of 32 pages of greatness right there. It's a lot of fun. A lot of fun. That's just the adventures of a 3-foot-tall giant robot as he fights off the big monsters that invade his city.
3-foot-tall giant robot.
That's what it is. 3-foot-tall giant robot.
That's awesome.
It's the only way to describe it. With a bad attitude yet. He won't do anything unless he does it on the clock or at time and a half.
Yeah, I'm going to say he won't do it unless he gets paid.
Does the job, he gets paid. Yeah. All right, folks, thanks again for watching us. You can find us, most of us, depending on if Scott gets up early enough or not, over on Friday morning at 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time at Comics by Night. This week, we're going to hopefully finish off the John Byrne Eltzwin material that I have on hand. That I don't have all of it, but I've got some of it. So we'll go over that, and it's been great. As you can tell, Scott drools every time we turn a page.
Scott drools in general, but
well, there we are. But that's,
it's my superpower.
Other than that, keep an eye out for Arrow Comics all over the place. We have, like I said before, we have a lot of great, exciting announcements coming up in the new year. This is the new year. This year that we can't wait to tell you about. We're just waiting to get our ducks in a row and be able to. We don't want to promote anything that we can't deliver. So that's the big thing. All right, in the chat, Marv E. stepping out. Sad but true. I just have a couple books in my father's collection. We used to move a lot. I don't hate you yet, Scott. Just don't show cool books and you'll be fine. Yeah,
it's a matter of time, Marv. It's a matter of time.
It happens to everyone eventually.
Should I pull up my first appearance of Iron Fist?
Marv says, have a great week and hope you see you soon. Says he's subscribed probably to fundmycomics.com. Can't wait. When is the announcement? Whenever we can, as soon as we safely can make an announcement, we'll be making an announcement. But we've got Arrow Comics is designed to be a creator-owned company. People own their own IPs. They control their own books. They even pay their own bills. And we're all under Arrow Comics together in order to self-promote, co-promote, and like Brian K. Morris, who isn't on the show often enough, says a rising tide raises all boats. That's the way that we feel about it. And that's what Arrow Comics is designed to do. So as they become available, we'll be making these great announcements. So, and I can't wait. I can't wait to show you the quality of the work that's coming. You want a hint of that? Arrowcomics.store. Go over there and take a look at some of the stuff that's there. There's a lot more on the way. I put up the background today for comic strips because yesterday I found out that yesterday was the starting date back in 1929 and 1934 for both Buck Rogers and Flash Gordon to start up comics.
Nice.
Isn't that amazing? For whatever reason, probably because it was the first open day in January at the time that they were being published. January 4th was their start dates. So
love it.
Is that cool? Absolutely cool.
Well,
more fun stuff, folks. Go ahead.
I was going to say, speaking of IP, that's what I got to go do. So catch you back later.
Yeah, absolutely. We all do.
Yeah,
all right, folks.
See ya.
We'll see you soon. See you next time. I'm going to run a couple of bumps and then
see you.
We'll see you. See you next week here on Sunday Funnies. Sunday at 9 a.m. And then Comics by Night, Fridays at 5 a.m. Scott's already running. I guess he really.
Yeah, I
did
gotta
have
go
to.
too. I'll talk to you guys later.
All
Let's
right.
go and get.
See you, Alison. See you.
We'll see. I'm just
Yeah.
scrolling down to the little videos that I have to play, and then we'll go. Take care, Allison. Thanks a lot. Here we go.
Have a question or comment for us to address on the show? Have a topic you want us to talk about? Email us at indiecomicsnetwork@gmail.com. Want your comics to arrive in pristine condition? Head over to GeminiComicSupply.com and save 10% on your next Gemini mailer order or anything in the Gemini Comic Supply store. Use coupon code RAGIN10. That's RAGIN 10.
Well, it started. It just didn't go. Here we go. In the middle of the night or early Friday morning, depending upon where you are in the world, a group of experienced comics professionals get together to examine and instruct about the art form that they love. That's great comic artwork on Comics by Night, Fridays at 5 a.m. Eastern, here on the Indie Comics Network, indiecomicsnetwork.com.
What was that? This is not a charade.
Take care, everybody.
See you.